Hello, everybody. This is Mark Blanton from the Real South Africa.
And I am Latasha Blanton, also with the Real South Africa.
And you guys are welcome to sunny South Africa. If this is your first time, this is your opportunity to come with Phil Scott with his channel.
And they will be here on March 16th through the 25th, 2022. The cost does include the flight, most meals, and your domestic flight in country from Johannesburg to Cape Town. The cost is $5,500 per person sharing and $6,150 per person wanting a single room.
Now, at this point, you don't need any extra shots. The only thing you need to do is have a negative COVID test prior to you leaving. And then, of course, upon departure, we will get you another COVID test. And then that's it. So that's really all you need. And, of course, a passport.
So no shots, no vaccines, no nothing. Just get to South Africa. We'll see you here.
To talk about here, this story here. Now we're going all the way to Ethiopia with this story, but we're going to talk about these folks. So Britain, they refused to return Ethiopia's sacred tablets. Now the British stole the plaques after defeating Emperor Tawadros II at the Battle of Makwadala in 1868, and they are now locked away in a vault in a British museum. Now you remember the movie Black Panther? And remember when Killmonger was in the UK and he knew the history about the vibranium and he told them how like they stole it. He said, nah, I'm gonna take all this off your hand. Oh, so you can't take this. This is our property. He's like, no, it ain't. You stole it. You know what I'm saying? Like I told people this. They took all the history from all these black nations and they put it in their museums and make it millions of dollars or millions of pounds a year for people to go see African history. If they remove everybody else's history that they stole in their time of colonization, because the Europeans, well, the British, they colonized a lot of places. No, I don't know nobody saying, oh, I want to go to Britain and see British history. Oh, wow, I can't wait to see that. I don't know nobody says that. But people say, hey, I want to go see some African history. Hey, you know, maybe go see what the Asians did. Hey, let's go see what the Native Americans did. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about them. They're not relevant like that. They need everybody else's culture and everybody's history for relevance. Okay, so check this out. So they got it locked away in a vault in a British museum. Now Ethiopia say, hey, okay, we need our stuff back, man. Just check this out. The museum is willing to let, listen to the key word, let Ethiopia borrow them for an extended time.
I'm so sick of these people. You know,
Oh, man. You steal their stuff. You know you stole their stuff. Then you got the nerves to tell them, well, I'll let you borrow it for a little. Boy, these people are devils, man. That's like somebody stealing let's say something valuable. That's like somebody stealing your Bentley from you. You find out they got your Bentley. You say, hey, man, I need my Bentley back. Well, I'll let you borrow your Bentley, you know, maybe for about 2 weeks. But you got to bring the Bentley back. It's mine. What are you talking about? Look, that's the deal I'm giving you. You know, you want to take it or you want to leave it? You know, you lucky I'm willing to let you borrow your stuff. I mean, you lucky. Man, you trying to not take my offer? I'm being nice to you. Like I said, if y'all don't really think about what these people do and say, I'm telling y'all. Now, they say the museum trustee said that law prohibits them from returning the items, but supporters argue there's a loophole that will allow them to do so. Your law ain't worth a drop of piss because you stole it. How you going to steal somebody's stuff and talk about, well, you know, a law say I can't return things that I stole. Now, they say, a quote says here, we believe that today the British Museum has a unique opportunity to build a lasting and meaningful bridge of friendship between Britain and Ethiopia by handing the tablets back to Ethiopian Orthodox Church. It said a group of supporters wrote in a letter to the museum trustees that 11 tablets or altar tablets are of huge spiritual significance. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church believes the tablets are the dwelling place of God on earth or the Ark of the Covenant. Priests use the tablets to sanctify and consecrate church buildings. By tradition, they are supposed to be kept in private place, away from public view. Only priests are allowed to see them. Yes, not put in a museum for everybody to be around. Now, say 8 of the tablets, it said, at the British Museum were acquired during the Battle of Makedala. It said British soldiers reportedly took the tablets, jewelry, and other precious items after Tawadros committed suicide instead of surrendering to British soldiers. More than 500 soldiers were killed in the battle. Some of the other items were returned to Ethiopia last month, but they are still negotiating the return of the tablets. Whoo, man. And y'all, don't even get me started with all the gold they stole from Ghana. Those people, you can look it up. The UK has a big, huge gold reserve. And all that gold they have, their British pound is backed up by all that gold they stole. Okay? That's why the pound is always stronger than the US dollar. All that belongs to Ghana. Ghana used to be called the Gold Coast before it became Ghana. Even the big diamond that's in the little headpiece that the queen wear, they got that from South Africa. Like, these people have been freaking thieves and leeches and parasites to black people ever since they came around. Now, I say supporters argue that since the tablets cannot and have not been exhibited, they should be returned to Ethiopia. Images of the tablets are not even made available on the museum's websites. It say the museum argued that the British Museum Act of 1963 blocks them from permanently returning the items. Supporters, however, said the law allows the disposal of objects unfit to be retained as long as they can be disposed, it said, without detriment of the interests of students. And the tablets, it say, have no apparent use or relevance to the museum. Now, I say, however, the museum is still reluctant to release the items. They said these documents need to be reviewed and addressed with full consideration, and more time is required before this can be looked at by trustees. This is according to the British Museum, said in a recent statement to The Guardian. I mean, they're literally fighting to hold on to stolen things. They say Ethiopia announced the retrieval of a ceremonial crown, an imperial shield, and a set of silver embossed horn drinking cups and handwritten prayer book, crosses, and a necklace from the 1868 battle last week. Some of the European countries have also returned items to countries they have looted. As Germany has returned the stone cross back to Namibia as restitution for the genocide of the Herero and Nama peoples in the early 1900s. The German officials have also issued guidelines to public museums on the return of other colonial era objects. The French President Emmanuel Macron recently approved a plan to return some museum objects to France's former colonies in Africa. So everywhere these people have went, they have stolen from African countries. They have looted gold. They have stole people. They have stole artifacts. And some of those artifacts are right here in America too. You understand? But the British is the one that did more theft, thievery, etc. Because they were colonizing everywhere they go. And I believe African countries need to take a stronger stand. Matter of fact, if I was the prime minister of Ethiopia, I would be like this. Look, you got 30 days to give me back my stuff. And you don't have to. But you know what we about to do? Because since I knew it worked with the Nigerian president did this, okay, President Buhari, you banned from coming in our country because you're thieves. And you can come back when you give us our stuff back. You're banned. No flights to my country, and we not flying to yours. Completely. You're done until you give us our stuff back. When African countries start taking that stance, every president that took that stance with them, they quickly like, oh, okay, like that. When the president of Ghana told the UK that, okay, well, if you're going to do this to us, you're not coming in our country either. Wasn't even a day or two. Not even, you know what I'm saying? Oh, well, we want to reverse course. That's why I tell you, your African leaders and even the people, push your leaders to start doing that to these European countries. Tell them you're not coming here no more. If you're going to steal from us and not give us back our stuff, this is our history. This is ours, not yours. We're not trying to steal things from you. We're saying give us our stuff back that you stole. Why do you want Ethiopian history in your museums for? You should be displaying British history, European history, not somebody else's. Let them go to Ethiopia. And listen, I've been to the National Museum of Ethiopia, and thank God I got to go. I got to see so much history there, so much history by going. I also got to see the oldest person in the world, their father, 4 million years old, that was found right there in Ethiopia. We are the oldest people on the freaking planet. We are. And the cradle of life started in the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia. Matter of fact, that whole continent used to be called Ethiopia. And they didn't used to call you Africans. They used to say, oh, Ethiopians. Anybody black, they'll call you Ethiopian. Or prior to Ethiopia, Abyssinia. That's why you got to know your history. Because if you know your history, I'm talking about the history of our people that go back thousands upon thousands of years. I'm just not stuck on one aspect of our history, which would be considered recent history. The transatlantic slave trade is considered recent history. Even though it's been hundreds of years, it's still recent compared to the thousands upon thousands of years of how we were, on the African continent. The life started in the Horn of Africa. They just recently came out with a study with some skulls that showed that all life started in Ethiopia. Recently, these are white people saying that the original people are black. Started in the Horn of Africa and just start traveling from there to all these different places all over the world. That's why I just think it's so silly when, just me, my thoughts, you want everything identity to be one thing when we transcend that. Our kingdoms, the things that, like all the history, the things that we've done and continue to do. And things going to be better. I'd rather be, I'm talking about your ancestors. Your ancestors go a lot deeper than the slave plantations of America. That's one part of our history. That's not our whole history. But see, some of you have believed what the white man told you about yourself. How is it the white man was going to Africa to learn? Because they didn't have the best schools in Europe. Those was in the African continent. They were going to places like Timbuktu to go learn. And we were so poor and destitute, swinging from trees. How Mansa Musa had all that paper and that bread? How? Recently, even that story they told about, Egypt and all of that, which was a freaking lie. Their own scientists said those Europeans wasn't even nowhere near that when all that was going on. So the Hebrew Israelites are telling you at least about that. They write about that. But some of you don't want to research your history. And I say your history because it is your history. If you look like me, you African, yes, we African, whatever you want to say. We are the oldest people on the planet Earth. Everybody come through us, even our greatest enemy, the white man. Come through us. Now, there was a story, and I kind of believe it too. I kind of believe it because it makes sense. Why are they so much against us? Like, why us more than anybody else? Give me a second. Okay. And it's still to this day in the African continent. If a child is born albino, a lot of times in African history, they felt that child was a devil. Or that child was some form of witchcraft or something like that, and then they would take that child out, or some of them would feel pity for them and send them off. Well, the story goes that the origin of them is they come from the albinos of our group, and then with time they evolved to what they are today. But they are a rejected group of people. And notice they hate us, but they can't stay away from us. Have you noticed that? Like to say you hate us, but yet you still come where we at. You'll still go to Africa. You'll go to the Caribbean. You just, they can't stay away, but they don't like, it's like that. It's a bad love-hate thing. It's pretty bad. And I said, yeah, that makes more sense. Like some of them don't even know why they hate us so much. But when I was kind of told that story, I said that story actually makes a little bit more sense. That they know they was rejected and they wasn't wanted. And now they got in power. They wanted to take it out on their people that rejected them at the time. Well, they're not part of us, but still, that makes more sense to me. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. But with that being said, our history go back millions upon millions upon millions of years, and I know about that because the moment I got to Ethiopia myself, I felt that spiritual connection with the land. I mean, it's crazy. It's a spiritual connection on that continent that you won't feel nowhere else. And I've been to other places, but only in the African continent I feel it. I feel that connection, like I'm there, I belong here, I got to figure out the way to be here, that sort of thing, right? I'm actually home. I mean, like I say, anybody that been know what I'm talking about. People that haven't been, they usually not going to, you can tell real quick by the way they talk, right? And if you're a person that love the white man and all of that, and you just feel that you want to be underneath him all your life, then don't attack Africa. Don't do that. Because if you're anti-Africa, you're on the wrong page. Because any anti-Africa speak here, I'm going to block you. I'll be honest with you. We don't do that here. We do not do that here. But for me, the more and more I'm even learning about African history, right? The different tribes, even the tribes that I come from on my mom's side, the Balanta tribe, right? Out of Guinea-Bissau, how they fought. They didn't just sit up there and just take it. Even to this day, the Balanta people, which I was researching, they still have their customs. They didn't lose it. Even with colonization of the Portuguese, they didn't lose it. They still have their language. They still have their customs. They still have it all. Because they said they wasn't going to just, no, you wasn't about to come in there with no Islam to them. You wasn't coming there with Christianity to them. You wasn't coming to anything. Nope, that wasn't happening. He said, we believe what we believe here. So I would encourage you to start doing more research into African history. Find out how the continent was prior to them folks showing up. Do you know it was no such thing as owning property on the African continent? Because land was a resource. You know, that concept of owning land comes from the white man. The land was for everybody. So at times, okay, well, if the food is over here, we need to get up as a group and go over here, right? This our little area we're going to be in until we need to leave. Water was a resource. It wasn't this, I own the water, I own this, I own that, like this, all this owning. When a white man showed up on the continent, he talking about, oh, this is my land. Start erecting fencing, start erecting this, erecting that. They never seen that before. Even here on this land, the same thing, same concept. The Native Americans did not do that mess about, oh, this is my land, this is your, no. The land's for everybody. So those borders that's on the African continent right now, that's why they have people talking about we need a borderless Africa. Why? That's going back to what they were prior to the colonization. I mean, there's a lot of things they got on the continent that's right, that I love and that we need to get back to. Because this process from that Mzungu man got our whole situation screwed up. And the problem is with that, some of us go over there and we literally whiten the mind. And you won't realize it till you really like catch yourself. You are, a lot of you act like the white man. The arrogance, the thinking you better than everybody. Everybody need to fall at your feet. That comes from the white man. That don't come from our people. So that arrogance, you need to put that away. Because that doesn't even come from our people in America either. Let me say that. Our ancestors were not arrogant people. They didn't think they were better than anybody. They were always loving people. And I even said black people in the South still retain the closest culture to African culture. I will say that. Black people in the South. I've been into all different parts of America, and I can tell you The Southern black people is the ones that's still closest to the African culture in the way we approach people. You know, how the speaking and the friendliness, and, you know, you go to New York and you speak to somebody, speaking to me for, they're like, why y'all so angry for? Like, what is wrong with y'all? You know, and man, look, I love my brothers and sisters in New York. Shout out to New York, but man, all that anger. Calm down, smile a little bit, speak to people. You know, enjoy yourself. Everybody ain't against you. Shoot. Colonization never ended in the white supremacist system. And as we see today, the colonization is in the mind. Now, those who have been enslaved and those who have been colonized, we're still dealing with the remnants of that through the colonization of the mind. Pick up my book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, and we will help deprogram you from the colonization that was put upon you by generations and generations of white supremacy. You can pick it up today on Amazon.com. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store.